Welcome to my channel. My name is Marlies and today we're going to focus on creating two little journal pages in Halloween style. In my first Halloween video, I already showed you how to create this basic structure, and now we're going to create a page inside of this journal. The first thing that I did for this page is go into my stash, into my Tim Holtz supplies, and that means I got out my Layers and Paper Dolls package and also my Halloween Ephemera pack, and I have chosen some papers, also including some backdrops, to create a collage for this page. As soon as I have the pieces that have caught my eyes, I am going to, just move them around a little bit and find the best spot for them to place them on the page. When I am happy with the result, I will take a picture with my cell phone for reference. I got out my Halloween design tape because in the background it is quite clear and empty, and I want it to be filled a little bit more, and also I want to see some color. That is also the reason why I chose this kind of tape, because there is a beautiful orange color in there. The tape is already sticky on its own, but to be sure and to make sure the tape will stay in place, I am using a glue stick to glue them down. The tape is down and now I want to concentrate on inking up all the edges of my paper pieces. I am doing that with the Distress Ink Vintage Photo, and I'm starting off with this portrait male doll. During this inking process, I also like to crumple up and age my papers, so that is what I will do with the little pieces, and because of those wrinkles that you will have in the paper, I think the ink will stay beautiful on top of those raised areas, and it gives a bit more of a grungy look. This little label was crinkled with my fingertips, but you can also choose for some larger pieces of the papers your paper distresser to distress the edges. I do not only want the edges to have a brownish ink color, I also want some staining on top of my papers. So I'm going back in with the same ink, Vintage Photo. I have put some on my craft sheet, wet it down, and I broke up the color with my fingers. Then you can take every piece of paper that you have and dab them into those little drops of ink. When all my papers are stained, I will put them to the side so they can air dry, and I have my hands free for something else. I got out my mummy cloth and also the Distress Spray Crackling Campfire, and I'm going to color these pieces of mummy cloth, coordinating colors with my project. I also have the Hocus Pocus Mica stain, because later on you will see I will also do a page with a female portrait in some purple colors. The spraying with the mica stain, Hocus Pocus, did not go well because my nozzle was blocked, so I got it right away out of the jar. I do not mind to get my hands dirty and stained, but if you do not like that, you can choose to wear some gloves. Now that the mummy cloth is colored, I will put this box and the mummy cloth to the side to dry. Time to work on my collage, so I got out my Distress Collage medium for the gluing part. I'm just going to take it step by step. So first I did these two longer pieces for the bottom, but I also want some layers in between. So I am going to continue with the gluing, so I get all my layers in the front, in between, and in the back. I also love to work with loose threads, and in this case I have some black sewing machine thread. I have crumpled it up in between my fingers and I'm going to staple it down with the tiny attacher. I also like some stitching on this page, so you can think about a running stitch or a zigzag stitch along some sides of the papers. And remember, we have the mummy cloth, so you can also take some pieces of the mummy cloth and stitch it along with the paper and the running stitch. Besides stitching the mummy cloth with your papers, you can also glue them down to the back to create extra layers. You can also use some older products out of the Ideaology line for Halloween. In this case, I'm using one of the Collage tiles, Halloween style, and it is a great way to add some extra layers behind my collage, and it will also cover some pieces of the empty background. I will keep on adding layers until I am happy with my collage. I am going to stamp on the background of this page with the Slate and Stone stamp set from Tim and the Distress Oxide Black Soot. You can see on top of this page, the page is a little bit empty. I want something to be there, some movement, something that is interesting and that will catch your eyes. And that is the reason why I am stamping. I am happy with how my collage turned out. Later on I can still add some little details on top, but for now it is good to glue the piece down. I am going to repeat the same steps for a second page, but in this case I'm going to use a female doll's portrait and a similar kind of ephemera pieces and backdrop pieces. To get a matching look in this project, I'm going to use not only same kind of materials, but also my layout has similarities. That means I have the doll portrait in the middle of the page and the longer strips of paper on the bottom that I'm gluing down right now. In between those layers I have some smaller pieces of ephemera, and in the back I have some larger pieces of ephemera to fill in the blanks in the background. And for the details you can glue down some smaller pieces of ephemera on top, and also do not forget to use your pieces of mummy cloth. Repetition is key, and that is also the reason why I'm going to repeat the running stitch and also some zigzag stitch on some pieces of the papers. And because I have attached some loose threads onto the male portrait, I am also going to do that on this female portrait. And do not forget your little details. In this case I'm going to glue down a little butterfly, also in a purple color. And while I am building up my layers, I also thought about my mummy cloth to put them in between some of the layers and stitch them along with the paper. Here is a close-up for some details. I found this piece in the Ephemera pack from Halloween, and I think it is a great addition on top of one of the larger strips on the bottom of the collage. I am also going to repeat the stamping, but not in the background, because the background of this lady is already very dark. So I got out one of the Halloween flip cards and I'm going to stamp on this card to fill up those empty spaces. When I'm adding a new piece of ephemera to the collage, I will give it the same treatment as every other piece of paper. So I'm going to make those edges a little bit more rough, and I'm going to ink them up with my Distress ink, a vintage photo. And I do not want to forget my staining on top of the paper. This piece of ephemera is perfect to fill up some gaps in the background, so I'm going to glue it behind the lady. Now that I'm satisfied with my collage, it is a great base to work on even further. It is time to glue it down to the page. After gluing down this piece, I had some time to take a good look at my project, at the male portrait and the female portrait, and that means you can make some choices of adding some details. A great way to add some extra details is to use the Halloween Remnant rubs. These rubs are from last year's release, 2022, but they still have a wonderful effect because when you place them down and give it a good rub, they blend in very, very well. This is a stamp from the Tim Holtz Stampset Mini Glitch, and it works very well to add some extra texture to the background and fill up some blank space. Back to the female portrait, because I want it to be matching, I'm going to do the same stamping and also use a remnant rub on the little label. Placing the remnant rub is the last step in this video, so that means this video is coming to an end. When you like my content, please like, subscribe or comment down below, and when you have any questions, put them in the comment section. I also want you to know that this video is part of a Halloween series that I'm doing on my channel, so I would suggest stay tuned for my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!